Okay, thank you for coming and visiting with me. Today we're looking at the 790 Pro. And in case you haven't heard the news, with Bernina University, the Pro is coming into a whole lot of the other models of Bernina. And I'm going to focus mostly on what does Pro mean for me. And Pro has a lot of aspects that are going to be very helpful to you. The most exciting thing in the quilting side of it is the fact that the Pro will have some pinpoint placements in it that will make it easier for us to place designs, quilting designs, onto our quilt if you're going to use your domestic machine to do your quilting. So we would pick the embroidery side of the house. And when we go into designs, and all of your machines will have embroidery designs built into them, whether or not you have an embroidery module. There's a tab for embroidery for quilting designs, and you can pick those. So when I pick my quilting design, it comes on the screen. Now the big thing about the Pro models is the fact that they can use BQM files. That's Bernina quilt files. And they can be changed in size pretty much endlessly. Whereas in your embroidery modules, you can only take an embroidery and change it about 20% up and down. With this, we can take a large design and make it tiny, or a small design and make it larger. So what I have here is some pre-designed quilt fabric, and I have the clamp hoop. And you'll also see Bernina's just brought out another version of the clamp hoop, which will fit these models. The clamps hold the quilt in place, and if you're familiar with quilting in the hoop, often you'll leave the hoop on, take the clamps off, and reposition your fabric. This comes with a large plexiglass template, and the white comes off of it. This is just a sample, but it's very well marked, so it's very easy to take your quilt, put it in, and zero in on exactly where you need your quilt placed to get your design where you want it to be. So we take that out. These are clips, and the clips just go onto the edges. They snap in, and you would do one side and then the other to keep it balanced, and I get my quilt in place. And then you can see I need to put a foot on here, and it's going to use my embroidery foot. So I just pop him on, and there I am. And as always, when I start to get things in gear on my Bernina, we're going to have to let everything talk so the machine is all assimilated with the module. So we are going to go into the edit function, and we're going to look at pinpoint placement. And this one at the bottom will allow us to actually get things lined up and work with our blocks. The big point being on that is when you make a square block, unless you're perfect, and I'm certainly not, the blocks don't end up completely square. So we can make an allowance for that out of square. Whereas if we put a square design in a block that's a little bit off, we're going to, obviously, you're going to see how the block is not fitting that square. When we use this function, we can turn it and make it fit in that block, also allowing a margin around it. And with that margin, with the embroidery or the actual stitching for your quilting, matching the shape of your block, it looks like you're on point completely. So when we're in here, I pick the function, and I have 4 corners, and I'm going to go to my first corner, and you can see on my quilt sample, it shows me where the corner of that block would be. But I can move that using my dials. Now I can go around and create each point. So I've set that. Now I go around to the next point. Look at the screen. You can see it's just changing very slightly. And I'm looking at the needle to see what's my position. So I want to move that over to this point right here. Now the other nice thing is we've got a laser on this. So if you can tell, there's a little red dot there, so I don't have to put the needle up and down. I can just move until the dot's exactly where I would like it to be. And you can tell, now my design's changing. And I use my laser to figure out where do I want that position to be, right? And I've gotten that one in place. And now I go to the next one. And you can see my design is distorting, but I'm picking the corners I need to be. Now I can check, again, going into the edit function, I can see where is my block going to show up. So I've got one corner, another corner, one down there. If you recall, I started with a square block, and now I have a rectangle. Now I can go ahead with the sewing function. And so you can see that design is coming out like a beautiful feather edging the corners of that. Now I can actually go in on these BQM files and I can change the stitches per inch that I've got going. So I could have my stitches a little bit closer or a little bit further apart. Additionally, I would change and take off my tie-offs. So I don't want little knots on the back of my quilt. But essentially I can do this, so easy enough to do my blocks, but you can also take and use the same concept to do an edge to edge, where you can use that laser to help you get to the last point where you were on a design, get everything jived up, and then just do a complete edge to edge on your quilt. So again, this is the B790. It is a Pro Series, and the Pro Series are coming out into most all the machines now. Thank you.